You're watching Let the Quran Speak. In our busy digital world, it can be difficult to find time away, much less to engage in spiritual reflection. And yet every year, over 2 million Muslims go on the religious pilgrimage, Hajj. They take time away from their work and their busy lives. With me is Dr. Shabir Ally. Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
What is it about the Hajj that draws people in? What are they missing in their lives that they find in Hajj, Dr. Shabir?
I think in a way, Safiyyah, you already hinted at it. In our busy digital world, people feel less connected with spirituality and more connected with material things. It's not only the digital aspects of our modern world, but the advanced technologies. We are not so much in touch with the earth anymore. People in the past, slept on the ground, they ate on the ground. Then we built furniture, we raised ourselves up high. We started to feel more proud because we are raising in statures, like each person is sitting on their throne, right? Not only the king, and so on. So we, with the rise of high-rise buildings and modern means of transport and all of that, we are up in the air, but we're not connected with the spiritual side of our existence.
Mm-hmm.
So people need that time out to say, okay, I'm going to take a retreat. People who are not necessarily Muslims would find other ways of taking time out. People go into, a forest survivalist type of experience.
That's true. Yeah, they might go camping or something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for Muslims, the Hajj is the height of spiritual experience. It's not only a discontinuation, temporarily at least, of our engagement with the material things of this world, but the Hajj is a deep spiritual experience that it's hard to describe in words. One just has to be part of that flow and experience it for oneself.
So, Dr. Shabir, how does Hajj transform your life?
For Muslims, Hajj is an obligation to be performed at least once in a lifetime. So, when you have many of the same thing, you don't appreciate each one that much. But when you have one of the thing that, that's your only one, only precious, right? So it used to be that for Muslims to make that journey was really a once in a lifetime hope. A lot of people saved up their monies throughout their lifetime so that in their old age, they will have enough to make the journey. It was very expensive and most people could not afford to perform the Hajj. If some people perform
still
the
very
Hajj,
expensive, Dr.
yeah,
Shabir.
still very expensive, but more and more people are able to afford it, and to go twice, 3 times, and so on. But when it was not so affordable, the few persons who managed to make the Hajj were often distinguished in their societies by giving the special title Hajj for the man or Hajjah for the woman, which simply means pilgrim, male or female. Because it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, it registered in the minds of Muslims globally that this is such a precious experience. And that alone, it raises the bar of expectation of what this Hajj is going to do for you. People are already mentally prepared to be transformed. And because it often meant that the person would perform this in old age, it was really a life-changing experience in that a person might have thought, not rightly, even wrongly, but it could easily happen that a person may be thinking, I'm sinning my whole life, but at one day I'm going to make the Hajj and then I'm going to turn completely to God. And of course, a hadith promises that if one performs the pilgrimage, in a way that is pleasing to God, meaning that he does not, wrangle with anybody and he does not use foul language, then that person will return from the Hajj as the day he was born. From a Muslim point of view, that means free of all sins, because in the Muslim perspective, one is not born into sin. One does not inherit the sin of our ancestors. Each person will be accountable for their own good or bad deeds.
Mm-hmm.
And when a person performs the Hajj according to this hadith, avoiding the things which we mentioned, then that person returns free of all previous sins. So you can well imagine a person thinking, okay, I'm going to perform this Hajj. and I'm going to be freed of all of my sins. And from that moment on, I'm just not going to accumulate any more sins. Of course, we're human. We still will, especially some small ones here and there. But at least the major sins people will definitely avoid after having performed the Hajj. And they've changed their course and their orientation away from the things of this world, looking towards the things of the life hereafter.
I think that also there's something to be said, Dr. Shabir, about going on Hajj and submitting yourself completely to God, forgetting everything about the world, right? It's a life-changing experience engaging in that kind of practice.
Yes, and of course we are describing it a lot from the perspective of how it would have been for people in the past, right? And to a certain extent...
But it's still the same now.
Yeah,
right?
it is. But it's also something that we need to be aware of, Safiyyah, that people may be turning the Hajj into just another holiday. And we have to watch for that. Like, the number of selfies that people are posting.
Yes.
Like when you're there at the Kaaba, you go and you visit this sacred mosque, and we believe this to be very ancient. And there is a heightened spiritual experience when you go and you visit the Kaaba. Some of our classical books of Islamic jurisprudence describe that you enter it, you catch sight of the Kaaba, you're going to make a dua to Allah because, that's a very special moment. And, the respect you should have for the Kaaba, you don't want to turn your back towards the Kaaba. It's where we turn our face towards in our prayer and so on. We don't turn or, stretch our feet disrespectfully towards the Kaaba and so on. So now, if you want to take a selfie with the Kaaba in the background, then you're going to be backing the Kaaba. I'm not saying that it's wrong to back the Kaaba. I'm just saying that, the kind of respect that our classical teachings try to cultivate in us for the Kaaba, some of that gets... lost in again the digital world that that we meant to leave behind, but we're taking it with us. Of course, as much as is necessary, the pilgrim is allowed to, you're allowed to talk on the phone. You're allowed to, especially except when you're in prayer. Even while you were making the circumambulation, you could talk to somebody else, and theoretically, you could talk on the phone as well. And some people do. But I find it so inappropriate. Like, you could talk at some other time, unless you have an emergency. Why would you want to spend these precious moments, chatting with somebody else when you could be making dua, either verbally or silently in your own mind, or you could be seeking forgiveness of God, like in your own mind. You don't have to say it out loud so everybody hears what sins you have committed, but you could be confessing to God your sins at that time. For in the Islamic tradition, we don't go and confess to a priest, but we confess to God, and God hears our words and He knows our thoughts. So spend these precious moments in the remembrance of God. So I digressed a little bit from what specifically you asked, because I wanted to squeeze in this aspect, Safiyyah, that while we're talking about disconnecting from the material things and from the digital world, people tend to bring it into the Hajj, and then the Hajj turns out to be like another holiday, and we don't want it to be like a touristic attraction. People are going to Hajj to experience it from that angle. We want it to be a spiritual experience, and it is, as you mentioned, for many people, a deeply spiritual experience, a life-changing one.
Dr. Shabir, that's a good reminder. I'm glad that you brought in that diversion, because it's very important. A lot of people are talking about it these days. Too many pictures, too many selfies, too many strange things going on the mataf, near the Kaaba. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, and hopefully that will be a lesson for us as we move forward, because I haven't gone to Hajj, so hopefully I won't be doing those things when I go, inshallah.
Yeah, and of course, you're not disallowed, but people are doing it too much, overdoing it.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that, Dr.
You're
Shabir.
welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be of benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiyyah and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.